Hey guys, welcome back to a new video by Baji Resumption. So today we are going to attempt the Cambridge IGCSE Biology Paper 2 Multiple Choice Extended, the 0610 Paper 2 Variant 3. This is the May June 2024 series. So if there are any questions about this multiple choice questions that you have, feel free to comment down in the comment section below like my other usual videos. So let's start off with the first question. So question number one, which characteristics do all living organisms show? So this is a really easy question. It's just looking back at your Mrs. Grant again, and then you try to find out whether it is part of it. So we have movement, respiration, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition. So I mentioned excretion, which is part of the answer. So the answer is B. Question 2. What kind of skin do amphibians have? Okay, A, dry without scales. This one is wrong. Dry with scales. This is for reptiles. Moist without scales. This is correct. Moist with scales is wrong. So the answer is C. Question 3. Some components of cells are listed. Which cell components are present in plant cell but absent in animal cell? So let's go through one by one. So cell membrane, both plant and animal has it. Cell wall only plant. Chloroplast only plant. Cytoplasm is in both plant and animal. So the answer is C. Question 4. The image shows a pollen grain from a grass plant. So the image has a length of 60 millimeters. The actual length of the pollen grain is 500 micrometers. What is the length of the magnification of the pollen grain? So we're going to use the formula IM. So they have given you the image, they've given you the actual length. So now we need to find out what is the magnification. Okay, so how are you going to attempt is by converting 60 millimeters to micrometers. So 60 millimeters times 1000, you're going to get I think it's 60 times 1000, it'll be 60,000 micrometers, and then 500 micrometers will remain the same. So you just divide it with the image divided by the actual length. So you're going to get times 120. So the answer is C. Question 5. What will increase the rate of diffusion across a gas exchange surface? So a decrease in the concentration gradient, this is wrong. It should be an increase because diffusion goes from higher concentration to lower concentration. A decrease in the diffusion distance, yes, this one is correct because the nearer the distance is, right, the faster diffusion can occur. The further away, right, from one to another, then the diffusion distance, the diffusion will be lower. A decrease in the kinetic energy molecule, no, it should be increase, and an increase in surface area again. So the answer is B. Question 6. What happens when potato plant cells are placed in pure water? So if I just put my potato inside, okay, in pure water, meaning there is no solutes. Just remember there is no solutes. So meaning that outside in pure water, there is a higher water potential and the potato itself has lower water potential. So which would be the correct statement? So water enters the cell and they become plasmolyzed. This is wrong. Water enters the cell and they become turgid. This is correct. So the term turgid is suitable because it is a plant cell. A plant cell has cell wall, and then the water that enters into the cell can the cell wall is able to withstand the turgid pressure and it won't be able to burst easily. So that's why the answer for this is B. So both water leave the cell and water leave the cell for C and D are both wrong because pure water has higher water potential than the other types of solutions that we have, like high amount of salts, something like that. Okay. Question 7. The diagram shows 4 molecules. C represents carbon, H represents hydrogen, O represents oxygen, and N represents nitrogen. Which structure is an amino acid? So amino acids is the monomer of protein. So in an amino acid, you should be expecting to have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. So looking from all of these diagrams, if you have learned chemistry before, this should be really easy. The answer is just B. Because there's an N, you know that these are other molecules. So how we are going to, if you want to do extra, for A, right, if you can see the structure is, how do you look at this diagram? I will teach you a little bit because this is something that you learn in A levels. So you can see that there is 1 carbon, 2 carbon, 3 carbon, 4 carbon, 5 carbons, and 6 carbon actually. So this is actually glucose. Alright, and this one is an amino acid. We know this is the correct answer already. How about C? C, if you take chemistry, then this you definitely should have known. It has the functional group of COOH, so this is carboxylic acid. And lastly, this one is an you may not learn this, but this is an aldehyde. Oh sorry, this is not an aldehyde, this is a ketone, which is a type of carbohydrate also, okay, because it has C and C here. This is something that you will learn in A levels, okay. Question 8. The diagram shows the effect of changing temperature on the time taken for an enzyme to digest starch. So which statement about the results is correct? So the optimum temperature is at X and the rate of reaction decreases between X and Y. This is wrong. Okay, so the optimum temperature is supposed to be at Y. So this is automatically wrong. The optimum temperature is at Y and the rate of reaction decreases between X and Y. This is wrong. This should be increases. And the answer, you know, that is D. So try to look at this graph carefully because it says the time taken to digest starch, not the rate of reaction. So if you see this, you can see that the graph technically has flipped. Because at optimum temperature, the enzyme works very effectively, right? Therefore, it takes a shorter time to complete the reaction. Therefore, you can see that on Y, you know that is the optimum temperature of the enzyme able to function. Because it takes the shortest time to complete the reaction that it needs to break down. Okay. Question 9. Which structure contains the pigment that transfers energy from light into chemical energy? This is very simple. It is chloroplast. Question 10. Which region in the leaf of a green plant contains phloem? So phloem is a tissue. And in a leaf, you can find this near the spongy mesophyll cell, but it's not at the spongy mesophyll. It has a specific name called as the vascular bundle. Okay, question 11. The table shows the percentage of the daily recommended intake of nutrients in a serving of 4 foods. Which food will be the best choice to prevent scurvy? So scurvy is a vitamin C deficiency. So it's very important that you know what is the vitamin deficiency for both scurvy and rickets. For scurvy, it will be vitamin C. Rickets will be vitamin D. So for this case, it's vitamin C. So if you know that this is vitamin C, then the options is very easy for you to deduce, which is C. Because you need to have higher amount of vitamin C in your diet to help prevent or help to cure scurvy as a result. Question 12. What is the correct order of the processes that take place in the alimentary canal? So this is by its correct order. So it's by ingesting, digesting, absorbing, and then ejection. So the answer is D. Question 13. Why does chewing food speed up digestion? Bacteria in the food are killed. This is wrong. Food is mixed with proteins. Wrong. Proteins is only found in the stomach as first contact. The surface of area of the food is increased. Yes, this is the correct answer. The taste of the food is improved. Wrong. So the answer is C. Question 14. Which substances are produced by the action of amylase on starch? So the answer is sugar, because starch is a carbohydrate, and you know that the only carbohydrate you can see here is sugar. Okay. Question 15. The diagram shows a section through a villus. So they show the key, which is the direction of the blood flow. Several hours after a meal, there will be highest concentration of amino acids and of glucose be found in the villus. So where can you find these highest concentration at? Okay. So for highest concentration of amino acids, you will see them in the number 3. Okay, because that is where everything has been broken down and it's going back to the body. Okay, so answer 3. Highest concentration of glucose is also at 3, because everything is going to be sent back to the body, to the bloodstream. Okay, if they ask you highest concentration of fatty acids, then it will be number 2, because 2 is the lactose. All right, so this is how you answer this question. Question 16. The diagram shows a cross section of a plant root. So what is the function of the xylem of the part labeled Q? So I've kind of tell you the answer. How you know that this is the xylem is from the word X. So X means xylem. So what is the function of it? Is to transport. What's the answer? It's not transport glucose, it's not transport of amino acids, and neither is storage of starch. The answer is structural support. Okay, you'll be wondering, why is it not transport of glucose? Because it doesn't transport glucose. Phloem is the one that helps to transport glucose, but of course its main constituent is sucrose. All right, so glucose is found mainly on the leaf as a part of a result of photosynthesis. But again, later on, glucose is converted into a better form, which is sucrose. Then only it is transported. And since there's no transport of water or mineral ions, therefore structural support is the answer, because xylem have lignin. So lignin is a dead cell, and it plays a very important role in structural support of the plant itself. Okay. Question 17. Which part of the heart separates the deoxygenated blood and oxygenated blood? Answer is septum. Question 18. The diagram shows 4 components of blood. Which component produces antibodies? So this is by the lymphocyte. So always remember that lymphocyte has a very big nucleus, and it is not in the form of lobes. Lobes is something like this. 1 lobe, 2 lobe, 3 lobes. These are lobes of nucleus. But for lymphocyte, it has one big circular nucleus, which is B. Question 19. The cholera bacterium produces a toxin. The toxin causes the secretion of chloride ions into the lumen of the small intestine. Why does this cause diarrhea? So let's see each of the answer. The water potential in the lumen of the small intestine decreases, and water moves into the small intestine by osmosis. Maybe this is correct. The water potential in the lumen of the small intestine increases. So immediately if we see the term increases, this is wrong. It should be decreases. So you want water to leave. And water moves into the small intestine by osmosis. This is correct. The water potential in the lumen of the small intestine decreases, and water moves out of the small intestine by osmosis. This is wrong. The water potential in the lumen of the small intestine increases. Again, this is wrong. And water moves out. This is wrong. So the answer is A. Question 20. Which structure contains the cartilage? So cartilage is the one that can make your lungs, the tube of the lungs, flexible, and it plays also a big role on acting as a structural support like that. And the correct one is that it's found in the trachea. Question 21. The diagram shows the human breathing system. Which label shows structure that produce changes in volume and pressure during ventilation of the lungs? So the correct answer would be 1 and 3. So the answer is 1 and 3. 1 and 3, 1 is the external intercostal muscle. Intercostal muscle. And we have number 3, this is the diaphragm. Okay. Question 22. The graph shows the lactic acid concentration in the blood during exercise and during recovery after exercise. Which process accounts for the shape of the graph at Z? So you can see that lactic acid is dropping. And what is the reason? Is because lactic acid is being broken down. And it is broken down in the liver. So the answer is B. And it must be aerobic respiration because you are trying to repay the oxygen debt. Okay, and the only way is by undergoing aerobic respiration to reduce the oxygen debt. Question 23. Which process takes place as the filtrate from a glomerulus passes along a nephron? Okay, so which process takes place in the filtrate and the glomerulus is passed on to the nephron, which is reabsorption of glucose. So this one is in the liver. Excretion of oxygen by the lungs. Production of urea is also in the liver. And reabsorption of glucose is at the kidney. So this is how you deduce by its function to the organs that it is supposed to be. Question 24. A person moves from a bright light into a dark room. So what changes occurs in their eyes? So for this kind of question, you have to memorize. So since that it says going from bright to dark, your pupil will immediately dilate. Okay, and once your pupil dilates already, your radial muscles will begin to relax and your circular muscle will contract. So radial and circular, they work antagonistically, meaning one side contracts, another side relaxes. So for this question, you have to memorize, which is dilate, contract, and relax. Okay. Question 25. A person who had not eaten for a few hours was given an injection of adrenaline. The person's blood glucose concentration was measured for 3.5 hours. The graph shows the result. So when adrenaline is added, you can see the blood glucose concentration increases and then it gradually drops. So what is the correct explanation for the change in blood glucose concentration immediately after the injection of adrenaline? So let's see each of the options here that we have. Adrenaline causes less glucose to be converted into glucagon. This is wrong. Adrenaline causes less glucagon to be converted to glucose. This is also wrong. Because you want to see how does blood glucose suddenly spikes. It's all because of glucagon becoming glucose. So you have to find the sentence which has glucagon becoming glucose. So adrenaline causes more glycogen to be converted to glucose. So once I tell you the answer, you know that D is the correct answer. Question 26. Which statement about insulin is correct? Insulin is produced by the liver when the blood glucose concentration is high. Its target cells area are in the pancreas. This is wrong. Insulin is produced by the liver when the blood glucose concentration is low. Its target cells are in the pancreas. This is also wrong. Where is it wrong is pancreas. It should be the liver. Insulin is produced when the pancreas, by the pancreas when the blood glucose concentration is high. Its target cells are in the liver. So this is the correct answer. So it must be when blood glucose concentration is very high in the bloodstream and your body wants to lower the blood glucose concentration by releasing insulin. And insulin is produced from the pancreas, but all of the target cells are in the liver. This is very important. Question 27. What is a function of the placenta? So it acts as a barrier to prevent some toxins reaching the fetus. This is already the correct answer. But let's see why the other is wrong. Exchanges blood between the mother and the fetus. This is not really the answer. Prevents the transfer of excretory products from the fetus. Nope, there is excretory products happening all the time. It protects the fetus from mechanical damage. This is wrong. This should be the amniotic fluid or the amniotic sac. Question 28. Which diagram shows the correct inheritance of sex chromosomes? So for this question is kind of trying to see whether which one is the correct answer here. So for question 28, the answer would be B. So why is the answer B? Because this is not possible. C is also not possible. So it's either B or D now. You need to remember that you must always have one female mating with one male. So for this is the female, this is the male. And you XX, XY, XX, XY. This is correct. So for this one, XX correct, XY, this is wrong. This should be XX. XY, XY. Okay. So again, it's just something to let you know is that in sex chromosomes, it is always 50% male to 50% female. Okay. Question 29. Which of the statements about the production of a protein are correct? So the sequence of the bases are determined the amino acid sequence used to make a protein. So for this one, is correct. The mRNA molecules are made in the nucleus and they remain there. This is wrong. This should be the DNA. The ribosomes assembles the amino acid together to make a protein. This is correct. So the answer is B. Question 30. In mice, the allele for brown fur is dominant to the allele for white fur. The diagram shows the inheritance of fur color in a family of mice. Which two individuals are heterozygous for fur color? So heterozygous, it can mean either big B, small b. Okay, so for this one, they are not asking you for sex-linked gene. This is more of the regular dominant allele and all of these type. So how do you know that which two individuals are heterozygous for this? Okay, you can check by doing one by one. Okay, so for example, okay, this one is female with white fur, so you expect this would be small b, small b. So number 2, you don't know whether it's going to be big B or big B, small b, but you need to check the offspring. So the offspring is having 2 of them which has brown fur, but we do not know again, so we need to check one by one. So let's say if I have B, this is my first try. Okay, I will get B will be the same. This can be justified for 5 and 6, but for 7 it is not. You need to be also getting small b. So therefore, this is not possible. BB is not possible. Now, let's try with heterozygous with homozygous recessive. So we got big B, small b, big B, small b, small b, small b, small b, small b. So this is justified because I have 2 of these. So for number 2, this is heterozygous. Now, let's check 3 and 4 now. Whether how is it going to form 8 and 9? So for this case, right, you have both male having brown fur and female who also have brown fur. So you can kind of know that this is either big B, small b, or big B, or big B, small b. But if you can see from here, right, it is not possible to have big B, although it's going to be justified for 8 and 9, but it won't be justified for the rest of 10, 11, and 12. So therefore, 8 has to be B, small b, so that when you cross it, right, it is possible to get BB, which both 3 has it. So the answer for this is 2 and 8. So again, this question is slightly tricky. Feel free to comment down in the comment section below which part it doesn't make sense. Question 31. Desert plants have evolved to survive in places where very little water is available. Which process is reduced to enable them to retain as much water as possible? Transpiration. Okay. Question 32. These events may happen when an antibiotic is used to treat a bacterial infection. So which sequence may produce a strain of the antibiotic-resistant bacteria? So first of all, is some bacteria will mutate and resist to antibiotics. The antibiotics will then kill most of the bacteria. The antibiotic-resistant bacteria will survive and then will reproduce. It's always survive, reproduce, survive, reproduce. If you get this this kind of flow, it's always correct. So it's 4-1-3-2. Question 33. The graph shows the peak length of offspring of a wild bird population in 2000 and in 2020. The graphs are drawn to the same scale. Which change has taken place in the overall beak length of the bird population, and what type of selection has this brought this about? So we got change in the beak length of the bird population. So from here you can kind of see that there is an increase, okay, because from initially this to this, so it has increased already from moving to the right side. So this is increase. The type of selection in the end from 2000 to 2020, this is by natural selection. Okay, so it's definitely not by artificial. So the answer is D. Because if it's artificial, there will already be a big spike, and then it doesn't really show so many of different kinds of beak lengths. Because artificial is specific to that desired characteristic that you want. Okay, so that is the final answer. Question 34. What is the principal source of energy input into an ecosystem? The sun. Okay. Question 35. The diagram shows part of the nitrogen cycle. Which numbers represent the decomposing bacteria and nitrifying bacteria? So decomposing bacteria will help to convert it to nitrates. So this is found in 2. Nitrifying bacteria is where it is from the ammonium, then it converts into nitrates later on, and this is by the nitrifying bacteria undergoing nitrification. So it's at 3. So the answer is 2 and 3. So question 36. What is the description of biodiversity? So A, the number of different animal species that live in an area. This is wrong. Okay, the number of different plant species that live in an area, wrong. So it should be C, is because the number of different species, it has to be both animal and plant and the rest of the kingdom together. This is called biodiversity. It is not specific to plant, it's not specific to animal, it's not specific to fungi, for example. It is everything together. The number of individuals of a particular species that live in an area, this is more of either population. It's either population. So the answer for this is C. Question 37. A list of different stages that occur in process of eutrophication is given. What is the correct order in which these processes occur during eutrophication? So first thing, always in the start of this is by increase in the nitrate ions first. Then later on, there will be growth in producer because it becomes fertilizer to the underwater plants. Then later on, there's a death of producers followed by their decomposition. Then we have increased aerobic respiration by the decomposers, and then there will be a reduction in dissolved oxygen and the death of organism later on. So the answer is C. Question 38. Lignin is used to make a sustainable resource known as bioplastic. Why is bioplastic a sustainable resource? So sustainable resource, from this question, you just need to find a definition. For this case, sustainable resource means that it is produced rapidly as it is removed from the environment. So you can just find the answer is just A. So this is by definition. Question 39. Which bacterial cell structure is useful for genetic modification? For this case, the answer is plasmid. Question 40. A crop plant has been genetically modified to make it resistant to herbicides. What is the possible disadvantage of introducing this crop plant? The loss of weeds reduces competition. This is wrong. Some of the weeds might become resistant. Yes, because it has the main word here is make it to resistant to herbicides. The crop plant is unharmed and produces a higher yield. This is wrong. The new gene will appear in newer generation. No, it will appear immediately. So the answer is B. Alright, so this is the end for the MCQ for this paper. So feel free to comment down in the comment section below if you have any questions about it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.